what's going on, everybody? How's it hanging? How's it happening? Because you guys know this is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast. Hey, everybody, happy Tuesday. It is April 12th. I want to wish a happy birthday to my best friend, Alex, who turns 27 years old today. Hey, same age as me. Yeah. So enough with that, but this conversation I had with this band, oh, this was another fun one, man. We're on a roll with a lot of these. Before we jump into it, though, I want to thank our sponsors. First, Phoenix Fitness. Yes, we are through 1/4 of the year. Summer is right around the freaking corner. And when it comes to live shows, you're going to be outside in those festival sites having a great time. So you're going to want to, make sure that you can rock out as hard as possible. So you want to hit the gym, lift the iron, hit the treadmill, hit the hamster wheel, and do that cardio or bike or swim or whatever you do. And hit those fitness goals if you want to do something like that. But one great way to continue to hit those fitness goals is to, recover right and prepare right to make sure that your body is ready to go to take on those workouts. That's where Phoenix Fitness comes in. They have many different supplements to help you achieve your fitness goals. They all have like pre-workouts, both stim and stim free. So that means, not as many stimulants or, caffeine free and stuff. I use the stim free stuff because, guys, I'm crazy enough as it is. Otherwise, my hands would be shaking like, if I took, the regular stim stuff. They also have BCW recovery compounds to help you absorb nutrients and absorb, the stuff that's going to make your muscles, heal faster, heal quicker, and gain more strength after a workout. Creatine to help you build muscle. Different protein blends help you build muscle as well. AM, PM directly after your workout. Collagen protein, plant-based protein, multivitamins, anything you might need to achieve your fitness goals. Phoenix Fitness has got you covered. So our listeners get 15% use the code MSOTD at Phoenix Fitness website, fnxfit.com. Link description of the podcast. Thank you, Phoenix Fitness. Our second sponsor is Custom Debuts. So what Custom Debuts does is something pretty cool. What they do is they take anything you want music. So they take a band, say Ice Nine Kills. They take an album or a song. So say it's like Welcome to Horrorwood, or, we'll go with A Grave Mistake as the song. So what they'll do is make a custom poster for you off of that album or off of that song, using the song lyrics, using the album artwork, the track listing, all this kind of stuff. So you have a unique poster, all your own, around, whatever you want from your favorite bands, favorite artists, favorite songs, favorite albums, whatever it might be. They'll send you a proof within 48 hours of what it might look like. And if you don't like it, you can be like, hey, I want something different. And they'll keep working with you until you're satisfied. And you can get that sent to you on normal poster paper, a canvas print, which is pretty cool, or an aluminum sign. So you can be the coolest person in the office, in your dorm room, in the garage, in your basement, in your own house. You can make, your friends just like, hey, I got this cool custom poster. Me, I just got, this Rise Against poster from, Douglas Park, Chicago, Illinois, Riot Fest 2019. That's pretty freaking cool, but I should probably get another one from myself, custom debuts poster. Our listeners get 10% through the code CPP10 at Custom Debuts website. Link in the description of the podcast and Custom Debuts. Now to our feature presentation. The last time I found a band through an Instagram ad was First and Forever, and that was freaking awesome. Now, I found this band called The Broken View off of an Instagram ad. They were promoting their most recent album called On the Mend, which came out back in December. And I saw this ad in March, and I'm like, let's check this out. Let's see what happens. If you guys like the band Caskets and Holding Absence, you definitely are going to want to check this one out. And we go into this podcast, we talk about, how these guys got into music, what that moment was like when they first realized, music is what they wanted to do, their process of writing this stuff, and how fine is not good enough for them, and just how intensely they work with their music and how passionate they are about it. Plus, then we go all meme-like, too, with some fun things. If you've ever seen Little Nicky, yeah, you're going to watch this. The Lion King, that makes an appearance as well. Tenacious D, this is the greatest podcast in the world. No. It is simply a tribute. That happens as well. So strap in. Please look at the guys from The Broken View to the Chord Progression Podcast. Are you ready for this one? Let's go! Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast. Thanks to just this random Instagram ad that popped up on my feed a week before we shot this, I found out this band and their newest LP, On the Mend, which came out back in December. I'm like, okay, let's go give this a listen. I kind of want to see what happens here. Took a listen to it, and if you guys are fans of bands like Caskets we've had on the podcast, or fans of bands like Holding Absence, this is a band you're definitely going to want to listen to because, oh my God, yeah. That's the best way to describe this. Oh my God, yeah. So please welcome from the band The Broken View, the band Austin, Tyler, Joe, and John. So guys, welcome to the Chord Progression Podcast.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks, man.
Glad to be here.
Thanks for being on, guys. How's everything going in your world? Especially as Austin looks like he's in like full Elon Musk mode in space while he's recording this right now.
Yeah, they launched me out here like a couple of weeks ago. It's really lonely. I can't wait to get back home.
It's for the record. It's for the next record.
No, my room isn't like finished. I'm doing like construction in here, and if I turn the light on, it like blows me out, and I just look like a ghost because I have such pale skin. So.
He's in like that.
You're really just a vampire.
Or he's trying to, just like go through the whole entire movie The Martian with Matt Damon, just really trying to live through that right now and just wait, a couple, 100 days before, someone comes to try and rescue him, and then he gets blown into space and then makes a bad movie called Downsizing.
Excellent. Yeah. I even have a red light to help with my complexion. So
there you go.
Perfect. Pretty soon, you start growing potatoes in your room and we'll be all set. Like, you will literally become full Damon at this point.
I was going to ask where are the potatoes.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Fortunately, haven't had to do that.
Oh my God.
We'll see what happens. All of a sudden, like in 2 months, I'm going to see an Instagram post from you guys. It's going to be Austin trying to grow potatoes in his room. Just like, I felt like this had to be done.
This had to be done.
It has to come full circle.
I love it.
It absolutely will. So kind of jumping into some more stuff with the band as well, because when I took a listen to On the Men, I mean, especially with other bands I really get into, like the two I mentioned, Holy Absence and Caskets, like I took a listen, like a lot of their stuff, and I really got into their stuff, especially towards the end of 2021, early 2022. And listening to your stuff, it's especially with stuff on the Men, holy shit, the sound is different from those bands, but just the overall emotion, vibe, and feel that I got off of the records that those bands put out, I felt with your guys' record. And I mean, those records were freaking fantastic. So I listened to this and I'm just like, okay, thank God I found this Instagram ad. Unfortunately, it came through like 3.5 months, maybe a little bit too late, but hey, better late than never.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
So, couple of things, like especially with the album, like when it came out, what did you guys see from the album, especially with the growth of the band? How has that been over the past couple of months, and how has that really taken the band, from where you guys were before you released it to where you are now?
Really grown a lot, actually. When we released our EP, we didn't really have much of a fan base, and it didn't get a lot of traction. So we were happy with like our 1,000 views. So, that was just crazy to us in itself. But then after we did the cover and people started really responding really well to Something Better. And that song kind of just blew up, and it felt like more of like a responsibility to make sure that we made the best album possible. Because of how much this music means to our fans, and how much they mean to us, and we just really care about the quality of the product, and just making sure that people are happy with it. And the response has been like crazy. Every song, I mean, every day, getting comments and people telling us their story of how the song has helped them and what it means to them, and all the different takes on it. And I just think it's really beautiful that people can find like a place, like a safe space for them within our music. So I think I answered your question.
I definitely think you did, especially when one thing I'm definitely big on, especially from doing these podcasts and, connecting with so much different music from so many different artists, it's seeing how this connection all kind of comes into play. And of course, the main part of that connection is when you guys are talking genuinely or really talking passionately in your music and telling these stories to really put across these messages, it's the way that you construct them, the way that the sound of these songs really hit everybody, because they're going to evoke this core emotion that everyone's going to be able to relate to. But then that's why you're seeing so many people come up with all these different interpretations, because they're hitting on that core emotion, but everyone goes through different things in life. So they relate to that themselves, and they kind of put themselves in the music. They put their own story in there, and they relate it to them a little bit more closely. But when you boil it down to that core emotion that's at every single song that you have and why people are connecting with those songs, it's based off of that core emotion and the feeling they get when they listen to it. Whether it's something that evokes maybe, a sadder memory, a happy memory, something that really brought them down, and just to see how far they've come from that specific point in time. It's something that really is beautiful, and especially like what I was saying, I mean, I'm going to bring up those two bands again, Holy and Absence and Caskets. I mean, when I listen to those records, they really pulled a lot out of me. And when I listen to what you guys put together, it had the same effect of pulling those emotions out of me as well and making me realize, where these songs are connecting with me and then me putting myself in them as well to really get more ingratiated in them. So, I mean, it's no wonder why all of a sudden you guys putting out the best record possible for this one really made sense to really connect with all the fans that you ended up connecting with.
Right. Yeah, we get like messages every single day that messages and comments that we could hear all different stories from all around the world. And it's just, we try to message back every single one of them and do the best we can, but just, we do read every single one. And we're extremely grateful for each and every single person that listens to our music and connects with our music. And that's always been the most important part, is the fans. So,
Yeah,
and even
as a sorry,
go ahead. No, go ahead, man. My bad.
I was gonna say, as like a music listener my entire life, and I've also always done that, and I've always connected with music that was, I guess, darker, but I guess it's just because of the way my brain was working when I was younger, and I just like grew up with bands like Blue October and Peter Gabriel, and I just really I did the same thing. I would always feel like they were saying the things that I couldn't quite put into words, so I always wanted to do that for other people too, and I was always grateful for bands like that and artists of that caliber that had the the talent to really put it into this beautiful like piece of art that just speaks to you, and I've always wanted to do that, and I think we're doing our best. I really do love these songs, and it was really crazy because obviously it was written during the the thing, so
the thing.
written during the thing.
Yeah.
But I'm just
C
super
word.
grateful for all of the people who connect and love our music. I just can't say it enough. I just love it every day, and it almost doesn't even seem real, because every day I wake up, I'm like, oh yeah, people listening to my album right now. That's really insane.
Yeah, it's funny because like I'm someone who gets really caught up in the craft sometimes of like making these songs or just like making music in general, and like just like a very analytical person sometimes. So to like sit through and see how these people not only are processing the music, but like so explicitly explaining their process. It was funny. I just went like a couple nights ago to see Henry Rollins from Black Flag on his speaking tour. And there was a section of the show where he was like taking questions. And the question I asked was actually about this directly. I was like, so, you've been making music for so long, such a legendary figure in rock music. I'm like, how do you process people bringing such an intimate like picture to your music? And one thing that he was really adamant about was like a mutual respect and understanding, letting the fans know that you're like really, listening, and just be grateful that they're bringing this core of their life to you and putting it on full display. That's part of the responsibility of being in a band is like we make art for ourselves, obviously, but for a lot of people it's like very cathartic. So I'm sure the other guys can speak to this. Like, we owe our fans so much.
Yeah.
Like, they're seriously are amazing, and I feel so humbled that we can have such a positive impact on some of these people's lives.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's pretty incredible.
I mean, that's a massive thing to really undertake as well, especially from the fact that, what Austin had said, where connecting with music that you really connected with when you were younger and just really kind of putting intangible things that you're trying to describe or really feel, and you're trying to describe them, putting those intangible things into, something that's explainable, something that's tangible, something that's, you can hold on to and, experience with one of your five senses when it comes to the audio perception from music. I mean, everyone goes through that at some point and really connects with it. And then, John, on what you said, just really bringing it forward and, asking that question, having that mutual respect there, it brings so much more forward as well, because it shows, also that while you're very, into the process of making this music and into the writing process, really, formulating all of your ideas and putting it out into your music for yourself, you're also aware of just how much the fans will not only connect with it, but also how important they can be in this whole entire process as well to, connect your music, promote your music, and show your music to other people, and potentially use your music as those point in times where, trying to describe something that you went through, trying to describe a period of time in life when things were fantastic, when things were not so good, and trying to figure out a way to actually show somebody else what it was like to go through that. And then they listen to a song that you put together and it goes through that in their minds and it actually explains what they're feeling during that time, and they can show it to somebody else and explain it. That's absolutely incredible. And having that respect between you guys and the fans as well, and understanding that, is going to take you further than you can possibly go, especially with what Tyler had said, where you guys are, connecting with as many people online that are sharing their stories with you, and you're responding to them. I mean, from you guys even knowing this, as music fans yourselves, if a band that you really, really connected to and cared about, if you message them and they would message you back, how impactful would that have been, especially if you're 14, 15 years old? Like, how would that have hit you, and just understanding, how that's hitting other people as well?
Yeah. I mean, Austin, you have an experience with Blue October directly. I mean,
I have multiple experiences with Justin Furstenfeld. I've met him on multiple occasions. He did like an acoustic thing here in Malta. And he was just chilling outside waiting for his Uber. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to come out in here and talk to him. And then we talked for 45 minutes. And I was like, this is the craziest thing that's ever happened. I was like on the outside, I was like, yeah, cool, man. Yeah, cool. And on the inside, I'm like, oh my God, it's just Furstenfeld. And then I was also thinking, no shade at all, but he's a lot shorter than I thought he was going to be. I towered over him. I was like, oh boy. that was surprising. But because he looks so much taller on stage. But yeah, it's just cool to meet your idols and stuff. And actually, somebody said to me the other day, I think it was on our Patreon, somebody asked me, is it weird? Is it weird for these thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, or whatever it is, listening to your music every day? And because I said the lyrics were like my diary, and these songs are that for me, because they also kind of put my thoughts into words, because most of the time I don't even know what the song is about when I'm writing it, and then I have to read it and read it and read it until it clicks, and I go, oh, that's what I'm saying. And then I'm like, okay, now I know where to go with it, and it gives me a better idea of what it should feel like when you hear it and all that stuff. And there's just a lot of moments like that. So it's crazy that I'm always learning from myself, not only the people whom I've looked up to my entire life as a musician, but I'm always learning from myself and surprising myself with what I do. And it's just crazy to be cathartic for yourself as well.
Yeah, and even as you go through that as well, I mean, the process of making it, you're letting the song kind of write itself and letting yourself kind of figure that out naturally. So when people are listening to something, when people are listening to the emotion, feeling that and listening to the lyrics as well, everything is put together and feels like it's very natural. It feels like it's, raw and coming straight from the heart, because you're letting it happen that way. You're not trying to force something in there that's not supposed to be there.
For sure. And speaking of what you just said there, we were just talking about him, but the lead singer of Blue October once said that if you're not writing honestly, you should not be writing at all. And I have always, literally every time I pick up a pen or get on my keyboard or type notes in my phone, that's always in the back of my head. I'm like, if it's not pure honesty, pure truth, what's the point?
Understandable, and just kind of having that mindset too. I mean, it really kind of speaks to the whole entire fact that when listening to this album, I mean, the other two bands I mentioned earlier, it's just like the way that those albums hit. I mean, you guys brought that same kind of emotion and hit me in the exact same kind of way. So just being able to, hit people like that, and you're seeing that when people are reaching out to you guys and, telling you their stories and expressing how much they connect with the music, you're seeing that idea behind it where you're constantly writing from the heart and you're just focusing on that and you're understanding that has to be a thing you're keeping in the back of your head. It shows that is the correct way to go about it, and it's the best way not only for the best kind of music to be created, but also to connect with the fans and to make it the best way that you want to make it, because that's the important part about it. It's your music.
Right. If you don't believe in what you're saying, and if you don't believe in what you're saying in these songs, then how are you going to expect thousands of other people to believe in it? It's like you have to be all in and completely in love with what you're doing and what it is as a whole, the art itself, in order for you to present it to someone, because they're going to see that. That stuff is not lost on anyone. You can tell when something was from the heart. Like some songs you hear and you're like, fuck, like that. Wait, is swearing a thing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you hear songs and you're like, damn, like that. I know exactly. And this is really silly too, but like the movie, The Wedding Singer, something he says in that movie always stuck with me too. It's the weirdest things that stick with you when you're kids. But like he said in that movie, he said, I love, writing songs, and I've always wanted to write a song where, you hear it and I'm paraphrasing here, but he said something like, the best songs are the kind of songs that you hear and you're like, man, I know what that guy was feeling at the time that he wrote it. And that's always stuck with me. And I guess like I've just always been obsessed with music from the moment I saw Purple Rain. I mean, I'm sure every one of us has that moment that, drilled us. And I actually don't know them. So I would like to, I'd like to interview real quick and ask everybody, like, what was the thing that like you were like, that's what I want to do. Mine was Purple Rain, seeing Prince crawling around on the floor singing The Beautiful Ones did it for me.
I went to my first concert ever was Def Leppard, and I saw them up on stage. I was like 5 years old. I was like, I want to do that, Mom. And then I got a drum set not too long after that. And
yeah, that dude does it with one arm too.
I know. I was like,
Yeah.
what the hell, man?
Amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was mine.
All right, Joe, John, who wants to go next? 'Cause I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say too.
Yeah, sorry, not to like hijack your interview.
That's totally okay, because like I'm very curious to hear what like these experiences were for
Me
you
too.
guys.
I said it and I was like, well, shit. Now I have to know what theirs was.
It's amazing. I guess I'll go now. I don't know. I feel like I had a couple of those that like really kind of stuck out. Probably oh God. The one that's coming to me at the moment was the first time that I heard Rush play The Spirit of Radio. Was pretty much my like, holy crap, like that's cool. And then and then I don't know, probably like one of the times that I either like the first Beatle record that I sat down and listened to, I think it was Abbey Road. Like the first time I heard that, and then you had that medley at the end of Golden Slumbers and all through to the end. It's probably that for me.
So good.
Yeah, right.
So
like
good.
it's just kind of like I don't know, like there's so many of those little moments that I was like, oh my God, I have to do that, like yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, so I actually remember this pretty well. I think I was 5 or 4, and I was sitting in my bedroom, and we had this like we had like a little CD player like radio, and my dad came in with this CD with a guy holding a guitar in the front. It was "Flying in a Blue Dream" by Joe Satriani, and He puts
Hell.
the CD. He puts the CD on, and the first track, the title track, it starts like with some of this like feedback and like tape noise and like old. It's like old. Well, it sounds like old home videos maybe. Like and like it starts really quiet and it just keeps building and building and building, and like the drums come in, it gets a little groovy, and I'm just like listen, I'm just glued to my radio. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? What's gonna happen? And then it just blossoms into this absolutely incredible guitar solo because the man is like insane. And I was just like, my brain is like melting. I was like, what is this music? Like, I was like awestruck. And I was like, that's the coolest thing ever. I want to do that someday. And then the second thing absolutely has to be Guitar Hero 3. No question.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Guitar Hero 3.
The set list was so good. There was so much good music in that game. It's criminal how many great songs are on that. But it's funny, like, I'm not the only person I've met who said the same thing. Like, I've been to so many shows, just seeing shows or playing with other bands, and I get to talking about the same question with people. And so many kids are like, yeah, I got Guitar Hero 3 on Christmas in '07, and I played, a slow ride, and I was like, this is so rad. Like, that's just so awesome.
Dude, I used to be able to play Paranoid by Black Sabbath and do the slash spin thing. I didn't have to look at the screen.
No way.
No.
Yeah. One time for Halloween, I dressed up as Slash and
Oh
went to
my
school
God.
with the actual Guitar Hero guitar. It was awesome.
It's amazing, dude.
That's insane. It's like I love hearing all those stories too, just because I mean it's all coming from many different places and just the different experiences. But I gotta go on to John with Guitar Hero 3 because Guitar Hero 3 was like when I got that too, I was just like, dude, this is fucking awesome. This is great. And there was one song that just stuck with me and that was the thing that got me started on like my own musical taste. And it was the first time I tried playing Stricken by Disturbed because hearing David Draymond's voice, I'm like, what the hell is this? But I am very intrigued and I want to know more. But
yeah,
even like
that's where I found Disturbed too.
But even and then because I was at the time, I mean it was 2007, so everyone's downloading MP3s. My brother and I shared an iTunes account, and there was a song on the bonus track list that he really liked from Guitar Hero 3 that he put on our iTunes, and I gave no attention to it whatsoever. And it was "Prayer the Refugee" by Rise Against. And all of a sudden, 2 years later, like I'm listening, I'm like, I really like this. All of a sudden, that's when Savior was a huge song on the radio, and we listened like every freaking day on the way to school. I'm just like, do not turn the fucking station off because I want to listen to this. That's
Dude, I
live.
forgot, dude, the bonus songs are also all amazing. Like the extra songs they just threw in case you finish the main game. Like the Kill Switch song was on there, My Curse, the In Flames song, the Dragon
Through the Fire
song,
of Flame.
of course.
Did you ever beat it on Expert?
I know, dude. I'm so close to beating that game on Expert. All I need to beat is Raining Blood. But that one
Oh
part
my
with
God! Yeah.
where it goes into like
Raining Blood.
11, like I can't do it.
Nope.
I'm actually pretty good at that game. I don't mean to brag. But
Actually, freaking Stricken's awesome. That's so funny because it just like brought back a memory because I remember my mom had the Sickness album. This is way before Guitar Hero 3 came out. But my mom had the Sickness album. And I remember I used to like listen to it, but it was the clean version. And then like I went over to my friend's house, one of my neighbors, and he had like the version where he's like, no, mommy, don't do it again. And then I remember like listening to it, and I had never heard that before. I was probably like,
Oh, God.
6 years old. And then I came on and I was like,
oh man.
I was like, what did he just say?
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Dude,
That's awesome.
That is nuts. But I mean, even like the other cool part about all the stories you shared too is, I mean, you guys really hit it off at like a young age just by, the music that you were exposed to, the media that you were exposed to. I mean, Austin, you with Purple Rain, Tyler, you with Def Leppard. We got the Beatles in there, and all of a sudden we got Guitar Hero in there as well. And like even for myself, like I always liked music, but for me, like to really like figure out like this is really what I wanted to do with something, it didn't hit until I was like 22 years old. And when I went to go see Rise Against play a live show, it was the 6th time seeing them, but I was in a horrible space in life. And when I went to go see that show, everything that was shitty in life just went away for an hour and a half. And I felt great again. And I was like, this is fantastic. And all of a sudden, like, I don't know what the hell is going to go on with life, even though life got worse for the next couple of months, but I could always lean on that moment and like find happiness in there. I'm like, now I want to, make this a huge thing and make this, part of my life. And, 5 years later, here we are talking about the shit talking about your music and also talking about the shit that got us into music and making us want to do this and got us inspired to do this stuff. But I mean, for anybody that's out there, it's like music can hit you at any given moment. It can inspire you at any given moment. It doesn't matter how old you are. If all of a sudden you could be 45 years old and all of a sudden you hear something, you see something, and it just hits you in a certain way, it's like, I want to do that. Follow that dream, man. Follow it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's all about the
100%.
journey, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, because all of a sudden, you're going to be like 80, 90 years old in a nursing home, and all of a sudden you're going to be looking back at the journey that you went on with this, and you're going to look back at it with fondness and happiness, and you're not going to look back on it with regret and like, oh, I wish I would have done that. No, you actually freaking tried and you did it.
Exactly. I always said that too. I was like, I don't even care if like nothing ever works out with music, but I will never stop trying to make it happen, and it doesn't matter to me. Like, it's like the only option.
Yep.
Yeah.
And seeing just how everything has gone on with, with the new album, especially you guys talk about how it's growing the band and, people reaching out and connecting to you on social media consistently, talking about how they have been connecting to this album, how they emotionally have connected with it. I mean, some of those stories that you told, you might have, caused a couple of those for some of those people that you're talking to on social media as well that have responded with some of those, some of those stories, like you guys just hit me in this certain way when it comes to, listening to your music, how it hit me emotionally, how it really impacted me. And all of a sudden you guys just responding to that, you could have given already some people that moment where they're like, shit, this is what I want to do. It's all because of this.
It's incredible. I mean, we definitely want to like, get out there and play shows. It's been tough with, the whole pandemic and stuff, but we're finally like starting to plan out an actual tour finally, because we really want to have that connection, that personal connection, show them that we are listening, that we do care. And because we respond to all these comments, but at least to us it never really feels enough to, like, our fans have changed our lives for like ever. It's incredible. And they're the reason that we can continue doing this. And, we want to give that response back to them in that live show setting and really give them that hour and a half to just like you said, just like be in that moment and forget about everything else that's been going on for the entirety of their life, maybe, or even just the last few years that have been tough on everybody.
I just can't wait to meet all of them.
Yeah, me too.
I want to meet them.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. So
I want to take pictures. I want people singing with me.
Yeah. All of it.
I can't wait. We are really excited. Like, I think we're being a little held back here, but like we're really, really excited to tour.
Oh, come on, guys! Don't hold back on me now. I mean, plus, I'm gonna expect you to like.
We are like, fuck yeah! Like, we are so ready. We are so ready.
Like, us, I'm expect to see you at a venue around where I am at, and all of a sudden to jump into the crowd and start singing these songs in the middle of the crowd with people, and just really let people, get into that moment and just really feel it, just feel that energy. And just even if people are coming there and just like they're not necessarily sure who the band is, just giving them that moment of all of a sudden like this, holy shit, here comes the band. They're literally coming in the crowd. They're really sharing this moment with us. I mean, for anyone, that's just a super powerful thing. Because I went to go see a show at the beginning of March with was the tour that Belmont had put on, and the band that was on before him was Super American. And their guitarist, like we got a pick going for their last song. Their guitarist just dropped his guitar, jumped over the barricade and just jumped into the pit and just was going nuts. I'm like, I'm fucking remembering that for the rest of like as long as I can remember it.
Dude,
and once they're done with the tour, I'm like, I'm messaging them. I already talked to him after the show. I'm like, I want to get you guys on the podcast. So I'm messaging them right after this. And it's like, that was the thing that sealed the deal for me, because all of a sudden, like, I was connected to music. Now I connect with it even more so, because there was something that live show that just like brought more of that band to me.
Yeah.
Dude, that band's, I love Super American. They're so good. Like, those guys are like, oh my God, they have such, like, writing these super specific lyrics that, like, I don't know, like, I just resonate with their music a lot personally. And I love how, like, their last album was, like, very, it was a lot more turned up. Like, it was a lot more explosive, a lot more rocky. It was cool. But yeah, that's funny you say that. They're like one of my favorite bands.
I don't know. I had a feeling that might have been one of your guys' favorite bands. Just kind of like hearing like the story. I'm like, okay, there's gonna be something that just relates to it, because I know I think they're from like the same area that you guys are. I know they're from the New York.
Yeah, they're
area.
from Buffalo, I think.
Yeah,
but they have like I'm pretty sure probably have some like mutual friends with them. Like the scene up here is like pretty tight as far as like that kind of like punk DIY thing. So yeah, those guys are awesome.
So shit, maybe all of a sudden, never know. You know, the Broken View and Super American could be on a show together, a couple shows together in the New York area, and all of a sudden, you know, people are gonna get emotionally attached to your songs, and all of a sudden, here comes Super American guy, and all of a sudden, it's like, okay, we're gonna up the energy like crazy, have a good fucking time, and all of a sudden, everyone's gonna be hitting on so many positive emotions left and right. They're gonna leave that show not knowing what hit them, but they're gonna leave the show happy as hell.
For real.
Yeah. What was the first song that you heard?
From Super American?
No, from the Broken View.
Oh, from you guys, it was actually the Titcher song On the Mend.
Oh, okay.
Because that was the one, like, what happened was when I saw that Instagram ad, that was the one that was, like, the part of the video that was being played and the song that was over during that time. So I'm like, you know, if I'm going to start out anywhere, if that's the one I'm, you know, feeling like there's some sort of connection to, that's the one I want to listen to first. And so that was the one I jumped into. And I'm like, okay, after that, now I got to listen to this whole entire album top to bottom. And I mean, I still probably connect closest with On the Mend, just because like that was the first one that was there, but there was some sort of like minefield connection there in my brain. I'm like, this is the one I'm stuck on. I don't know, like after going through the whole entire thing, this is the one I'm still stuck on.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you
was
so much.
probably the fastest any of the songs on the album were written. I think I wrote that in like, it was insane because I was like drunk as hell the night before. And I was just mad that I was so hungover, and I was like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm waking up at my friend's house, and I'm like, oh God, kill me. So I like went and got iced coffee, and I like went home, and I was like, I'm so mad, I'm just gonna write. So I like sat down, and I don't think I left my room that entire day. I just made the piano first, and then like the drums. I knew I wanted it to feel like it was just like powerful. Like I wanted it to feel like it was almost tribal. And I think I worked all day on it, and then I called Tyler, and I was like, come over right now, I just wrote the best song ever. And like Tyler like came over, and he was like, this is so cool. And it was actually like a half step higher. And when it came around time to like, you know, track, you know, the real vocals to the album and redo the guitars, because all I had was like this shitty Squire at the time, so it sounded awful. And so we're retracking and stuff. We retrack the entire song, and then we get to doing vocals, and then I was like, this is really hard. And Tyler was like, I think it's a little high, buddy. And I was like, no, it's fine. And then we did like all of the vocals because I'm stubborn. And then I was like, okay, you're right, it's too high. So we pitched down
And it was a big selection and a nice delete.
Like, all the
layers and layers of vocals gone. I was like,
it was because I should have just listened at first. I was like, no, it's not too high, I can do it. And God, I'm really happy we decided to lower that shit, because when I do that one now, even in the key it is now, I'm like, whoa. I mean, I've gotten a lot better at singing it,
which is funny because when we were doing something better, and you were still like learning your voice at that time, and I was like pushing you. I was like, you could go higher, you could definitely sing louder, or do this or do that. And you're like, I don't know, man, I don't think I can. I was like, just try it.
Especially
so
like,
now it's table has turned a little bit, and you're like, no, it's not too high, I can do it. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, and it's really funny because now singing All I Feel Is You feels really low because I think my voice is now changed to like be higher. So now I've pushed my limits so much that I'm now in this comfort zone of like, yeah. And now everything else is like, oh boy. Oh, that's low. Oh, okay. And plus I was heavy smoking at the time when we wrote the EP. So like all of my stuff was so raspy. And now it's not. So it's like kind of more difficult to sing the low stuff, but I figured out how to like, change my techniques to figure it out.
I mean, you're not going like super low, like going, deathcore Will Ramos style and then like pig squealing over everything. So
no, but like the new
that
songs we're
track
writing
is
have
crazy.
actually every song on the new album that we're writing right now is all pig squealing.
Yeah. For real.
I'm just kidding. It's not.
I'll say if it is, there's gonna be one song you have to get a Will Ramos vocal feature where you get the full on squeal from him. It's like squeal for days.
Yep.
Oh my God, you just got the Broken View exclusive. Yeah, we're already writing the next album.
Oh,
Hey.
yeah.
Yes. More music from the Broken View. Holy shit, this is gonna be awesome.
For real, I literally am never not writing, and it's like kind of a little obnoxious sometimes because I'll be trying to do shit, and I'm like, oh, I got stuff to do today, and then I'm like, but I just got an idea because I was brushing my teeth at a certain tempo, and now I have an idea for a song, and I'm like, it's like a little bit of a curse.
Hey man, if you get the inspiration, just frickin' roll with it because you're seeing what came out here on this album. You're seeing how people are connecting with it. You're seeing just the mindset you have and how you're writing these lyrics and how you're getting these song ideas. Just roll with it. If you get an idea, just frickin' roll with it. Just see what happens. Because even like you're talking about when you're writing, on the men and you're recording it, and it's like, okay, the vocals might be a little bit too high, and then there's us and go, no, they're not too high. But being able to go through that record and then all of a sudden take a listen to it and be like, okay, they definitely probably were a little bit too high. So let's, retrack it, select, delete, let's go through it again. You wouldn't have, by trying it out the way you did it before, at least you knew it's like, okay, now we know maybe where we want to actually go with this fully to really hit on the full emotion, the whole entire storytelling side of the song to really hit it with the vocals. And maybe going lower actually is going to work out better just based off of what we see what happens when it's in that slightly higher pitch.
For
we
sure.
hold everything at a very high standard, like from everything from the lyrics, the melodies, to the music itself, to the videos, to the promotions that you'll see on Instagram or Facebook, like all of it. We totally do it on our own. We're like totally DIY, no label, no management. We've done it since day one like on ourselves.
We're like perfectionists too. Like I think John said it one day. John, you said it like we were trying to do something and we were like tweaking it. And you were like, what the hell? Like, it looks fine. And then we were like, no, I can't remember what it was. But like me and Tyler were just like, it's not right yet. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But
and if it doesn't meet that standard that we hold, it won't get released. Like I have a hard drive full of hundreds and hundreds of songs from the first record that
the EP
that never saw the light of day because it just wasn't.
That's
right.
why it was only 5 songs, ladies and gentlemen, because we were writing so much and most of it was shit. So we
because at the time we were still like trying to figure out like our voice, really
what it was gonna sound like. Yeah
Shit,
but now that we figured out, we cracked the code, and it's really cool with like the new stuff that is being written. I've always been like kind of a loner as far as like writing goes, but I'm trying to be more like open to like working with more people, and bringing in Johnny and like him and his ideas is always really exciting. And then I'm writing stuff with mutual friend Taylor. We've come up with like some really good stuff, like but it's crazy because I hear it and I'm like, yeah, that definitely sounds like a collaboration. That definitely sounds like something that I wouldn't have come up with on my own. And that's really cool to like realize that as a musician, because you get so comfortable in like your style and what you do and how you write. And then, bringing in anything is always a little frightening because you're like, oh boy, I don't want to hurt their feelings. I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's like, I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, wow, I actually know like good musicians and like I'm surrounded by these really talented people. And because, it's crazy. I've never had like friends who were like on the same page with me with like this stuff. And when Johnny comes in and comes up with an idea, 9 times out of 10, I'm like, fuck, that's awesome. So it's really cool to experience what it's like to work with other people because, with the loner mindset, you're like, I could do it. But it's hard to get to that point. But once you do, you'll know like the right people to call. You have people to call up, be like, yo, I know you're good with the solos, so get over here. Or I know you're good with the bass, or so it's fun.
Yeah, at times, having that like solo loner mindset when it comes to writing will work out just because you're so ingratiated in what you're doing and so ingratiated in like the idea behind the song, the emotion behind the song, that it does work out. But there's gonna be other times too where you're gonna want to, collaborate with somebody else, see what Johnny brings to the table, because 9 out of 10 times it's like, holy shit, 9 out of 10 dentists say, holy shit, we gotta listen, and the other dentist is probably drunk at that point, so he's nowhere to be found. So that's why he's the one that's not accounted for in the survey.
What a hell of an analogy. That was great.
Oh my God.
But it brings forward a lot more of just like, okay, now I'm starting to think about dentists and teeth. Now, God, I gotta brush my teeth. Okay, back to the music. But one thing that did stick out to me the whole entire thing was just the fact that you had, like what Tyler said, a lot of different, songs that you guys had worked on that never seen light of day. And that everything you do, you want to do with the utmost quality, and you want to make sure it's the best that can possibly be. I'm pretty sure, I gotta put down on the bottom of the video for this, it's gonna be something that says, like in quotes, fine is not good enough. Like you're always looking for like, making sure that it's going to be the best quality that you can put out there, that when people see it, it's like they know what you're coming from, and they're not going to be questioning like, oh, is this, was this just kind of hastily put together? Is this just kind of like, oh, we just threw this together like this? No, it's not the way. I mean, I'll put it this way. When it comes to Instagram ads, I see them all the time. See, this is only the second time I've ever reached out to a band from an Instagram ad because the Instagram ad actually like hit me. And the other one, I remember when I saw that one, I'm just like, this might be the best Instagram ad of all time because I remember it. And every time I saw it, I wanted to keep, watching it because of how good it was. All of a sudden I saw yours guys pop up, the day we did this. I'm just like, I smiled and I'm like, oh yeah, this is the one that got me. And I just kept watching it for a little bit. I'm like, all fucking right. So it does speak to the whole entire quality part of what you guys are trying to put out. And then, of course, listening to the album, it just reverberates into that as well, where you're putting out the best quality music that you want to put out. And you're not going to just cut corners, because when you cut corners, all of a sudden you get to a point where, things start falling apart, where, things aren't as good as they are. And if it was, Bar Rescue, you'd have John Taffer smashing down doors, yelling, shut it down.
Yeah. It's an awesome show.
I can't imagine sitting there like in a room together and listening to our album when we're done with it and going, it sounds fine, right? I don't understand why I don't know why anyone would do that. Hey, let's release this. It sounds fine. Like what?
Yeah. The best way I can describe it is that each song is like another child, and you just want to present it to the world as best you can and take care of it, nourish it, and present it to the world. And
I always made the analogy about the children because it's always funny to me because we listen to them so much when writing them, and it's like raising a child, and then you're like, okay, I'm done, and now
no
I'm going
health
to
insurance for you.
right now the child is of age. It is up to you, child. Make your own way now. And then I never I'll visit it every so often and be like, yeah, this song. But then most of the time I just move on to the next song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. New song.
I mean, we spent so many hours in the last stretch of making that album, Austin and I, just night after night on working on stuff. And then it came out, and then we're like, okay, let's just go work on the other thing now. It's cool because we worked really hard on it, pushed the album out, people got a chance to listen to it, and then we've been adding
some of the songs from the record into our live set. And we're starting to like practice some of the songs from the album, and like add more and more from that album. We're like rediscovering the songs all over again, which is a really fun thing to do.
I love performing them. And does it make you happy? I was a little worried about that one. I was like, I don't know if we have the chops to pull this off. And then we started practicing it, and I was like, well, shit, this is like, sounds just like the album. And I was like really surprised because, you know, most of our songs are big and loud and bombastic. And then that one's nice and chill, and it builds and builds and builds. And I was like, oh, it's like really raw. I hope we can do it justice, you know? And I think we kind of nailed it, and we're all like really happy to start playing that. And I can't wait to play it for people, you know, like,
yeah, and it's kind of like, I was thinking more analogy wise too, when it comes to the quality you put out in these songs, it's like, you don't want to just, you know, be like listening, like, it's fine. No, what you want to do is like, when you're working on these songs, you know, think about raising it as a child. What you want to do is you want to be like Rafiki when he holds Simba up in front of all the animal kingdom. It's like open up a song and all of a sudden everyone's going fucking ape shit because look at Simba, look at him.
I love it.
Holding up. And now somebody needs to go make a meme of him, of that, what's his name? Rafiki holding up on the mend. That'd be funny.
Oh, that gives me, I definitely know exactly what I'm doing now. It's because always for these podcasts, I always do 2 separate random meme videos to like promote the podcast leading into it, the couple days leading into it. That's going to be one of them. It's going to be one of your guys' face over Rafiki when he holds up Simba. It's just going to be the album.
That's perfect. Thumbnail action.
And then we'll see what happens. If I do get copyrighted, if I keep the Circle of Life song in there, I may just like pull it out and just replace it with one of yours and just see what happens.
We'll do a cover of it and send it your way. No, I was kidding.
Oh, but I might not get that cover for a couple of weeks because all of a sudden, you know, you guys are going to try and put out this cover, and next thing you know, you're going to be like, oh, it's fine. No, it's not fine. We're doing this literally for this moment.
We're just going to forget that it's for a joke, and we're just going to be like, no, it's not right. Like, we're just going to be like arguing with each other. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, but the next thing you know, all of a sudden you guys are gonna open up your live set with a cover of The Circle of Life. Because I mean, come on, if you open up with The Circle of Life, Broken View style, I mean, go back to the beginning of Lion King. I mean, when that song kicks in right at the beginning of the movie, I mean, like, you're jacked up going into that movie. Like, you're just like, I'm in for something epic.
Yeah.
But then it means we're owned by Disney, so you know.
Kathleen Kennedy is going to be our new album maker consultant.
Oh no!
JJ Abrams is going to direct our music videos. He's gonna leave like all those. What do you call them? The McMuffin. Where he just like leaves like the random things.
Oh, yeah.
Where he leaves like all those mysteries that you're just like, I wonder what that's gonna be, and then nothing happens.
The something better lighter just has no context.
Yeah.
Shit.
Exactly.
Next thing you know, all of a sudden we're gonna, you know, they're gonna start dropping like member berries in your videos. Like, you remember this? I remember. Oh yeah, I remember. Remember Star Wars? Remember Han? I remember. I also was watching a lot of South Park today as well, so that's where my mind exactly went when I started hearing J.J. Abrams. I'm like, oh god, I'm thinking about member berries now.
JJ stands for Jar Jar.
Sith Lord Jar Jar. Oh dear God.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, if you guys do, I mean, I've seen other bands do, you know, covers of stuff like as that as well that are like now owned by Disney. I mean, hell, Breaking Benjamin does a whole entire cover of the Imperial March.
I know,
like,
it's sick.
Freaking lightsabers come out of like whatever Ben Burnley put together. I remember seeing that live first time. I'm just like, what the fuck is actually going? Oh,
it was so fucking funny because Ben comes out and he like, it was like, I saw them. When was that? It was right before Force Awakens came out, and he like comes out and it's all pitch black, and he grabs the microphone and he goes, "There's a new Star Wars on the horizon." And he goes, and I was like, "What in the fuck?"
Oh my
It's like when
Kind
I
of
saw
like you're lighting right now.
Yeah, because like when I saw him, like what happened was like they went into that, and all of a sudden, like after that, like getting out of that, all of a sudden they played like the part after like the opera, like basically the rock part after the operatic part of Bohemian Rhapsody. Like they covered that. I'm just like, what the actual fuck are you doing, Ben? Whatever it is, it's fucking working though.
They do walk. They do walk as well.
Oh,
yeah.
Yep.
Shit, I got.
Pantera,
Shit.
Pantera.
I was like, shit, now I gotta see Breaking Benjamin again and just enjoy all this stuff. Oh well, it's gonna be in 2 months anyway, so getting close to that. Yeah.
There you go.
Nice.
But speaking of live shows, because I know you guys are talking about, wanting to put a tour together for this stuff, working on this stuff. When can we expect to see you guys perform these songs live and put this all together live so that we can, along with the rest of the fans, really experience this in a live setting and get that impact in a whole different way?
Well, we don't have any dates booked just yet, but we have a lot of exciting connections that we just recently got. We have a whole plan of where we want to go, and it's just a matter of start calling people and starting that booking train. And we're gonna try by at least the summer, late summer, but no specific dates as of right now. But it is in the works. It is happening.
Gotcha. I mean, if you guys had stuff put together, it's like we can't announce it. I'm not going to try and pull it out of you because, I know how this shit works. Even if I'm trying to tease this stuff. I mean, the one thing I'll ask about is like when it comes down to stuff like how about this? When it comes down to places that you guys want to play, where like some like wish list place that you want to play, like certain states, certain cities, certain areas of the country, like where you guys want to play?
I got the list right here.
Well, what's your dream venue you want to play?
Dream or like something that's realistic for our first tour?
Both.
Okay. The place that I was looking at that I am mostly excited for is in Denver. Nope, sorry. It's in Chicago. It is called the Beat Kitchen. I very much want to play the Beat Kitchen.
All right.
Dream though? I would have to say Madison Square Garden.
Neat. For me, it's always been our hometown venue, which is SPAC, Saratoga Performing Arts Center. And it's funny because we were so close to not only playing SPAC this summer, but with our all-time favorite band, Blue October. But it couldn't happen because they wanted to keep the team numbers low because of COVID. But we were so close to getting it. And I was like, damn it. So, but that is at least my dream venue. I worked there when I was younger and in high school and stuff. And I was in like the parking lot, parking cars. And I was just like, I'm going to play here. I'm going to play here. And it's going to happen. Just gotta, I would tell all my supervisors, like, it's going to happen. Just you wait. And they're like, all right.
Hey, you never, for that one with Blue October, that's supposed to be this summer, correct?
Yeah. Blue October and Goo Goo Dolls.
I'll say you never actually know what might happen because, as time goes on, I was seeing some other things about when it comes to New York State specifically with starting to like pull back on some COVID restrictions. I mean, things might end up changing by the time that date comes around where you never know. You guys might get brought onto the bill for that at a later date. Just I'm not saying it's going to happen, but the possibility is still there.
Yeah, we're still in contact with the people and we're on good terms. So
I think I would faint.
It's possible. Yeah, it'd be crazy.
All right, Joe John, what about you guys?
Oh, yeah, I was just going to list some things, but like ask them first.
Yeah, so
John, you go.
Oh my god. I think I want to play. Um, there's this place. I think it's called the Factory in PA. It's where they have
Oh
this
yeah.
art tour every year. It's like it's where like that guy Hate Six who does all the he does all like the hardcore documentaries and like live show stuff. He's been doing forever. That's where he's like based. It's just this giant old factory, just one huge floor, like no barriers, and it's just so cool. It's like really old looking and like industrial inside. I think it'd be really neat.
Cool.
That'd be awesome.
Honestly, I don't think I'm like too specific. I don't know. I never really thought of it like in this kind of perspective where like, is there like any one particular venue that I really want to perform at? Because it's just like I'm just excited to start, like playing in front of people, and like I don't really care where it is, like it could be at like a tiny shitty bar, and I would be like, hell yeah, dude, like yeah, like, so I don't know. I don't have like a super interesting answer, I guess.
But like what I was gonna just say real quick, like Tyler said, nothing's like at all booked or set in stone, but we're looking at like Boston, New York City, Pennsylvania,
Just an East Coast run. Yeah.
Yeah.
pretty much.
Virginia, Charlotte, Atlanta, Orlando, down there and then hopefully to Texas, and then Nashville, Chicago, Cleveland, Columbus, Rochester. So we're just looking at like an East Coast thing. So that's what we're trying to get going. Just
Gotcha.
More insight on what we're trying to get done here.
Gotcha, that makes sense. Because, like, all of a sudden you're talking about East Coast. I'm like, wait, but you mentioned the Beat Kitchen in Chicago. So I'm like, I'm hoping you guys are going to come around there at least. Because for me, that's the easiest place out of all the ones you listen to for me to get to on rather short notice. As I pretty much will go down to Chicago anytime as long as there's a concert I want to go. I'm like, fuck it, I don't care if it's a freaking Tuesday, I'm going.
That's awesome. Actually, it's funny. Chicago's like our top city. We have a lot of listeners in Chicago, which is cool.
Not gonna lie, I've talked with so many bands. I've looked at so many bands' Spotify accounts and like just seen like the top cities. Chicago is always in the top 5, no matter what. Pretty much
That's
for
awesome.
everybody. I'm just like, and this makes total sense to me, just because just the music scene around there is very, and like especially around the Midwest, is very ingratiated, especially within anything within rock and metal, and just it just connects to it. So, and again, with how many people are in Chicago, how many different venues are in Chicago, it's just. And even for like myself, I mean, I'm from Milwaukee, so it's like for me to get down to Chicago, yeah, if it's an hour and a half at the most. I mean,
Yeah.
I do have to deal with traffic sometimes, but you know what? That's how I've gone through this many times. That's what driving down there, parking far north in the city and then taking the L train the rest of the way. So I only have to pay $10 for parking and transportation combined. Yeah, I'm good with that, so I'll make it happen. Time wise, it might take a little bit longer, but you know what? I'm willing to spend that time if it means me being able to go see a show I really want to go and see.
Yeah, totally.
Every time I think about Chicago or talk about it or someone says it, I always think of that scene from Little Nicky when he holds up the Chicago record and he goes, Chicago. And he like puts it on the record and then he makes it turn and he goes, and he makes it say, I command you in the name of Lucifer to spread the blood of the innocents. And then the other guy that I can't remember his name, but he goes, "Oh my God, Chicago kicks ass."
Yeah, it's one of the guys that he always has in one of the movies. Like, oh my God, Chicago.
Dante, that's his real
Dante.
name. Dante. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, funny enough, like Bill Champlin from Chicago, because he was in the band for like 20 years. I actually interviewed him at the end of 2020, and I'm like, it was so hard not to bring up that part of the movie to him. Cause I'm like, it's so funny though. Cause I actually want to see, like, did you guys actually put that in the record? If we reverse it that speed, is it gonna say, I command you in the name of Lucifer to spread the blood of the innocent? Missed out on my opportunity, guys. Missed out on my opportunity on that one.
that's okay. I'm sure it doesn't.
Well, I'm gonna have to buy the record and find out now.
That's true. But I guess if it does it for you, then I guess maybe you are also a spawn of Satan. because that's the only reason it doesn't rap.
Well, if that's the case, and I've got some serious questions for my parents.
What did you do?
What did you do? What like weird kind of like ritual did you do to perform this? And am I gonna be like Kenny in South Park, where the problem is now I can't die?
I think clearly it had to do something with the blood of the innocent. So I think there's your starting
Best
place. Yeah.
Oh god. But then where did they get that? Oh man, now my head's spinning right now. Like I'm starting to think of many different things. Oh dear God, you guys.
Man.
We went from all of a sudden starting to talk about tour, like potentially place where you guys are going to go for a tour. All of a sudden now we're talking about the potential for me being the son of the devil. Oh.
But isn't this like crucial rock and roll kind of lore? It's very fitting if you think about it.
Dio would be proud.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo.
Dio would be proud. Ozzy would be proud if he still was mostly coherent though. Honestly, if I get a chance to go meet Ozzy, I might.
Young Jables, you are hungry for the rock.
Yes.
Oh my God, we made Tenacious D proud.
Yes, you did, and I mean,
yeah.
Well, we'll say that. We could even say that this is the greatest podcast in the world. Tribute.
This is the greatest and best podcast in the world.
No, this is simply a tribute.
Oh God.
Awesome.
Oh God, I'm gonna have to use that as another meme too. All of a sudden, this is not the greatest podcast in the world. No, and all of a sudden, have you guys flash out on the screen? This is simply a tribute. Have all four of your faces cut off like South Park, going, "It's simply a tribute."
Yes.
Man.
Oh, it's perfect.
The amount
got
of
it
meme
down.
content. The amount of meme content that has come out of this is just staggering.
Honestly, when we're not, in our music video stage or recording our music, we are just walking memes.
You're not wrong.
We're just fucking goofballs.
That's the way you gotta be though in life. At times, it's like you can. It's gonna be serious, but life is life's not. You're gonna die at some point. So why? Or was it life? What? God, I can't remember the quote of it. Don't take life too seriously. You're not gonna make it out alive.
There it is.
Oh.
There it is. Yeah.
So now we're going back to the pancakes.
Oh,
Pancakes.
shit.
Yeah. Oh.
Gotta keep it up. So guys, as we bring this podcast to its conclusion, the greatest podcast in the world.
The greatest podcast in the world.
Tribute.
That's right.
One thing I always like to do is give you guys a chance to say whatever you want to say, plug whatever you want to plug, promote whatever you want to promote at the end of the podcast. So gentlemen, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so you can find all of our stuff at thebrokenview.com. We have merch there, music videos. Shows are coming soon. New music videos are coming soon, and we also have a Patreon. If you'd like to join, we do a lot of cool behind the scenes stuff there. Austin is actually doing a weekly stream where he goes through every one of our songs and talks about the lyrical content, so that's been really fun. Every
Friday at what is this? Oh boy,
I think it's 7 p.m.
I think 7 p.m. Yeah, okay. Every Friday at 7 p.m. EST, I'm doing song breakdowns and stuff, and the other guys might pop in. And tomorrow is the fall, so we're only 1 week behind here. So if you have the means to become a Patreon member, you can go check that out tomorrow at 7 p.m. EST.
Yep.
Perfect. So there's a lot to go out there. So when I close out this podcast, guys, there are 3 specific things I'm going to go with. First things first, it's you guys just said a lot of stuff about, where to find the band, where to, be part of the Patreon page, become a patron, support the band in that, right? So there's plenty of places you can go to follow the band, support them, listen to their music, watch the music videos, all that good kind of stuff. And the best way to find all that stuff will be to go to the description of this podcast, because you're going to find something that says Find the Broken View online. There'll be links, labels, everything that you need to know, where you can connect them on social media, watch music videos, listen to music, stream it, buy it, download it, buy some merch, and check out their Patreon page as well. All of it's going to be there for you, so you do not have to go anywhere else but the description of the podcast. You can click, make it a super simple, super convenient. I mean, I'm doing all the work for you. You got to do 2 clicks. That's it. That's it. I'm doing
Thank you
every
so
single
much.
bit of the work, and I am fine with doing that. So now it comes time to number 2. Now, guys, whenever I've guests on the podcast, I've absolutely enjoyed having on the podcast. I always tend to make a certain promise as both a thank you and as like, you know what? I mean, I still want to see you guys play live. So this promise has happened. Let's see. Every freaking time I've had a band on the podcast, and you guys, my God, have not broken this streak whatsoever. So this is not going to be an if. If implies possibility of not happening. No, this is a promise. It starts with when. When implies this is going to fucking happen. Date and time, though, to be determined. So when I get to see you guys perform live for the first time, hopefully it'll be in the summer and hopefully it'll be potentially at the Beat Kitchen in Chicago. My promise to all 4 of you guys is this. First round's on me.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh,
Oh,
man, let's
sweet.
go. Let's go.
That is my promise,
man.
and please hold me to it because I have at times, I've run the bands off since like, we couldn't have a drink that night, so we'll do something else on a different night. One band that I've been connected with for a while after a show of theirs, I literally told the lead singer, hey, man, I got some for you. And it's like, okay, this is kind of weird. Walked out to my car. I popped the trunk open. There's a case of beer. I'm like, this is for you and the guys. Have fun.
Nice.
That's cool.
It's like,
Brown apple
instead,
and ginger. Let's go.
it's like,
There you go.
I put it this way. Instead of first round on me, how about 6-pack for each of you guys? Have fun.
Oh my god.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Shit.
You're asking for trouble.
Yeah.
Asking for
I'll
trouble.
tell you right now, this one down here, Mr. Johnny, he just needs Guinness. You just pump it into his
Yes,
fucking veins,
yeah.
and he's alive.
Get into some
Yeah.
pancakes.
Shit, I have to bring
This is
pancakes too
Pancakes.
now. We're gonna have to, and then pancakes in the pit. We're gonna have to keep this thing rolling. It's fantastic. So, guys, as we bring this podcast to a close, I cannot, in good conscience, end this by saying goodbye for a number of reasons. First reason is, well, I made you guys a promise, and I aim on keeping that promise. So it means I'll have to see you guys at least once, and we're going to have to buy Johnny some Guinness and buy the rest of you guys first round on something else, and we're going to have fun with that. The other part, the other
Your
reason I don't want,
reputation precedes you.
yeah. The other reason I won't say goodbye is because that's too final, and I would love to have you guys back on the podcast in the future. You guys are working on new music as well, so when that stuff is ready to come out, ready to be released, we can do this all over again, talk about the music more in depth, and continue to have a shit ton of fun. So, is this goodbye? Hell no, it's not goodbye. This is see you later.
Word.
Well, folks, that was my interview with the guys from The Broken View, Austin, Tyler, Joe, and John. Once again, if you want to find The Broken View online, look at the description of the podcast, see where it says Find The Broken View online. There'll be links, labels for their socials, where you can watch their music videos, where you can connect with them on, all the social media platforms. I already said that. Their Patreon page where you can download, listen, subscribe, stream their music, all that stuff is going to be in the description of the podcast for you. So it's very easy to find them, and you're not going to want to miss out on them. Plus, when they start playing live shows, you're not going to want to miss out on that as well, especially if they come out to the Circle of Life and I go full Simba and Rafiki on that. Yeah, you're not going to want to miss out on that. So when they appear in Chicago, make sure you're at that one. On top of that, please make sure you're subscribed and following the Chord Progression Podcast as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram are the social media platforms that we work with. You can also, when it comes to the podcast, we're also on TikTok as well with something like the chopped up style videos for the podcast. We are also available to be, found on YouTube for the podcast, and that's where we have the podcast video, so you can actually see the artist talking with us and interacting with us. So that's always cool. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you just want to listen to the podcast audio version wise, you can listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart Radio, and on Amazon. So links are down below for you. If you're already subscribing and liking our stuff, thank you very much for supporting the Chord Progression Podcast. We're going to keep this train rolling. If you are a first-time listener or you're not subscribed, first off, welcome for all you first-time listeners. Thank you for sticking around. And for all of you that are not subscribed, first off, thanks for watching the podcast. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Second off, please hit that subscribe button if you please. I'm a guy. I'm not a cop, so I'm not gonna force you if you don't want to, but I'm just gonna ask you to. Thank you, Custom Views and Phoenix Fitness, for sponsoring this podcast. Their links and promo codes are in the description of the podcast as well. Man, The Broken View, once again. If you like Holding Absence, if you like Caskets, if you like Dayseeker, this is a band you're going to want to check out. So on that note, that's going to be it for me, guys. Thank you for watching, listening to the Chord Progression Podcast. My name is Kevin, and you guys know how I end every single one of them with a big, healthy, and hearty see See ya.